Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Sonny Hirsch Election Special. We're doing a series of shows, at least 5 so far, actually, and there might be more than that. We are trying very hard to highlight every single candidate we possibly can in the race. Sonny Hirsch, who's always the guy behind the camera when you see me on this end, is the chairman of the District Advisory Committee of the 24th District. He's also in charge of court advocacy around here and a big community policing fan. So we thank you very much, Sonny, for being able to produce these shows and bring you the various candidates. And one of the things we really enjoy the most, we're actually interviewing 14 different people today. And of the 14, 12 of them are judges or judicial candidates. And I really enjoy, it's a much better breed of people in the judiciary than, let's say, your common variety politician. Number one, I don't have to get out the Q-tips and clean the you-know-what out of my ears. And, there's a certain civility and niceness among judges that, that you don't find in the other realms of politics. It's a pleasure to have somebody who's been on the show in the past, somebody who's got like tons of highly qualified, highly recommended, highly rated, who's presently a sitting judge, and that is Judge Mary Trew. How are you?
Very good. How are you, Avi?
Good,
thank you for having me back.
First of all, my pleasure, and since I don't assume that everybody watches the show from time to time, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Okay, I was appointed by the Illinois Supreme Court in November 22nd of 2010, and that was to fill a vacancy that was created by Judge Jim Epstein when he went up to the appellate court. So I have been on the court since that time, which is slightly more than a year. And in that time, I was in traffic court for a few months, and then I was transferred and assigned to Domestic Relations Division. And specifically, I sit in a specialized court called Parentage Court, which is comprised of 5 judges. Michael Bender, who I think is running in the 9th Subcircuit, but
right,
in
but
another
not
race.
Against you in the other
Right.
race.
He's
Yeah.
running in the parallel race. He's my chamber's mate. He's next door to me, and 3 others. And we hear, parentage cases, people who aren't married, who have children together, and the issues involved are child custody, child support, visitation, and a lot of other interesting things that go along with all of that.
So I take it if you're running, you like being a judge?
I love being a judge. I have always wanted to be a judge, and one thing I feared was finally getting what I wanted and not liking it. I thought, what happens if I get sworn in and I don't like it? Well, I like it. It's great. It is a real terrific job, and I can't think of a better job.
That's terrific. By the way, people do ask sometimes, what am I looking at? It's a stopwatch. I keep my own time. So, because the show can only last so long along those lines. One thing I want to point out, too, because, we always talk off the air, too.
Right.
For those of you baseball fans, you've got a baseball history in your family.
I do. My father, who passed away recently last April, was a player-manager for the Chicago White Sox and Cubs.
Wow.
And then subsequently he was a scout for the Detroit Tigers, the Cincinnati Reds, and I think he did the New York Mets for a while. He was involved in the signing of Willie Horton for the Tigers and Jim Northrup. Yeah. Oh yeah, both good players. They were both members of the 1968 world champion Detroit Tiger team.
Yeah, I do remember that team, and I did cheer for them.
Well, yeah, I was there.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, no, I was always a big Al Kaline fan, and I was happy to see him.
Al Kaline was my favorite baseball player. Had a doll that had number 6. I drew number 6 on the back.
Cool.
He was a great ball player.
So let's talk about your background before you became a judge.
Well, I started off as a public defender in Detroit, where I'm from, obviously. And I practiced there about 9, almost 10 years. I moved to Chicago 21 years ago. And when I moved here, I started working at an agency called Pro Bono Advocates, which serviced victims of domestic violence. And I stayed with that agency as it grew and developed and changed and became known by another name and created different service provisions, specifically an on-site clinic for civil orders of protection. And I went from being a staff attorney to the executive director of the agency, and then I went from there to being a judge. So I practiced primarily in family law, and we specialized in domestic violence cases, which, as you can imagine, are particularly high conflict.
Now, you're running in the 9th Judicial Subcircuit.
9th Judicial Subcircuit.
And what are the boundaries?
Well, the boundaries,
Cheery me.
basically, it's basically the 49th and 50th wards of the city. There's pieces of other city wards, the 40th and some others. It's mainly comprised of suburban Cook, including all of Evanston, all of Skokie, all of Niles, Gulf, Lincolnwood, a piece of Wilmette, a piece of Glenview. So sort of the northeast chunk of Cook County.
Yeah, so
And
at
I
least,
live in Rogers Park.
you know, at least you don't have to go over the whole county.
No, it is far better, I think. And I know that you had a candidate. I was overhearing Judge Gubin talking about the difficulties in campaigning in the 8th Subcircuit. We don't really have those difficulties. She was referring to the prevalence of high-rises in gated communities, and we don't really have that here. So look for me to be knocking on your door.
Yeah, and that's a good way to campaign. I think that's the best way to campaign.
Yeah, I enjoy doing that.
You get votes one at a time, and you're definitely
right.
a very personable person.
That's right. Thank you.
So, well,
Appreciate it.
always a pleasure, frankly.
Thank you.
And by the way, she's also got a great handshake. I almost never say that about judges, but you know, you do. You have the best handshake
That I
of any
get from
judge.
my dad.
Okay.
Yep.
So, okay, so you're going door to door. Now, there's also like a million events people go to.
It's
Do
a
you
million
hit that
events.
trail?
I do. I try to do that. It's tough because we all have full-time jobs, so it can be difficult to do that. But I do that as well as campaign on the ground, doing the field work. I think that's real effective.
No, definitely. You know, votes are gained one by one. And,
Yep.
you know, I remember, as a matter of fact, one of my friends was telling me, he became my friend afterwards. He came to me and he told me, like, he's going to win the election because each friend-to-friend card he sends out is an automatic vote. And I told him to wake up. And he, even though that this person was the most highly qualified person in his race, I think he finished 5th in a field of 6.
Yeah, with judicial races particularly, it can be a crapshoot because people don't know who you are, so you need to get out there and tell them.
Yeah, and even though all the ratings aren't out yet, in the past you've always gotten like highly qualified, highly recommended, the highest marks from not just one or two, but a significant number of judicial organizations.
Thank you, you did. This time I was reviewed by all the bar associations. It was found qualified or recommended by all of them. I was reviewed as a judge. There were some bar associations that no longer give the highlies. So
Really?
I got a highly recommended from the Lesbian and Gay Bar Association.
Okay.
And I was endorsed by the Personal PAC, by the Gay and Lesbian Victory Fund in Washington, D.C., and IVI IPO.
So that's pretty good.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah. You have a website, of course.
I have a website. It is www.votetrew.com.
And Trew is spelled.
T-R-E-W.
Actually, that's kind of catchy. I like that.
Thank you. Yeah, everybody always says they like the name Trew for a judge.
I never, you know what, it's supposed to, it's just striking me now, to tell you the truth. I mean, this is about the 3rd or 4th time I've interviewed you, and it's just hitting me right now. I never thought about that.
Oh, yeah.
So if people do want to contact you?
Well, we don't have a mechanism by which people can contact
Right, well,
us.
you're not running for alderman, but
Right.
the website.
The website, Facebook.
Yeah, we're Facebook friends.
We are. Yeah.
And
so
yeah,
come on
Facebook. Yeah, for those who, Facebook is such a terrific way to deal with people. You know, ordinarily I'm invited to a free judicial event almost every night of the week, but through Facebook I'm communicating with so many people on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Like I'm not getting enough fresh air.
You don't need to go outside.
And actually, the weather's been great this winter, so I probably should.
You know, in the future, we're all going to be sitting in our homes, on our computers. I think that's going on now.
Yeah, that is more so than ever.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's good points and there's bad points. Let's put it
That's
that way.
right. That's right.
So in any event, so www.votetrew.com. Judge Mary Trew, I want to thank you so much for being here. Terrific ratings, and good luck in the election.
Thank you, Abby.
My pleasure.